what we're looking for in gratitude is amplifying the ability to savor and appreciate things that went well in the past. Working on forgiveness, we're trying to loosen the power of the bad events to embitter. We can't get rid of the bad event. We're not trying to do hypnosis with somebody and have them pretend it never happened. But here we are with Colette. What a wonderful life I've had. I only wished I'd realized it sooner. All right? We tend to forget that happiness doesn't come as a result of getting something we don't have, but rather recognizing and appreciating what we do have. So when we think about gratitude, here, this is, there's a lot of work. If we were doing a day-long workshop, we would stop at this point and get some work done. So it's very interesting. What I would ask you to do, let's not do an exercise. Let's talk about one. How's that sound? Yeah. So what I'd ask you to do right now is I'd take out a pen and I'd give you a couple minutes and write down everybody in your past who you appreciate. Everybody who did anything in your life in any kind of way that you appreciate. Write those guys down. And then I would, break it up. Anyone who's been a teacher to you in your past. Anybody under the age of 10. Anybody in the last 3 weeks. Anybody who's been a mentor to you. Anybody in the world who's contributed to humanity or sciences or social justice that you appreciate. Anybody who's done something in politics that you appreciate. You'd have a very long list, right? So now we would begin, look at all, you do that list and you go, oh boy, I haven't thought about that in a long time. I haven't really thought to have gratitude about that. Well, there's some real richness in going back and pulling that stuff forward. So we're looking at 4 variables really. Intensity, how strong is that feel? So we could take, any one of those on that list. So who's really, you can remember a moment in time. My Uncle Ralph, my dad passed away this year, and so I'm going back for the first time to his home town since his death and his brother's death, and be with my cousins and the farm that he was raised on and so forth. And my uncle was Uncle Ralph. I loved Uncle Ralph, and Uncle Ralph was one of the few people in my life at all as a child who I felt got me, right? Joked around with me a lot. I don't joke around, but I like jokes. I'd say, Uncle Ralph, where are you going? He'd say, crazy, you want to come? Right, so sure. And I'd go out and take the tractor out and flip the rake. The rake, right? Or drive the slop bucket, the slop machine for the pigs, and drive it into the ditch. Take the corner too tightly and flip the hay wagon. He'd laugh, So I wrote a letter of gratitude to my uncle and went to Wisconsin and read it to him and his wife about 6-7 years ago. I'm bawling, he's crying, his wife, my aunt is crying, and within 4 hours, my cousin, when I saw my cousin, she said, I heard what you did with Dad. It's like it moved very quickly through the family, but it was such a rich experience for me to have that kind of depth of intensity. And then frequency, how often do you think about things in the past that give you a sense of gratitude? Span how many people, how many events, density, the number of people that we're grateful for. Very rich territory.